Hi, and welcome to the latest episode of Gritterish Chatter. Now, unfortunately, during June, I could not get a guest lined up to interview. My prior work commitments and their prior work commitments, unfortunately, led to an inability to line up any kind of agreeable dates to do an interview on. I had a few interesting guys lined up to interview. They will be coming in future episodes, but unfortunately, in June, we could not get an agreeable date. So, unfortunately, you're stuck with me, I'm afraid. And I decided to give you a little look into a day in my life. So this one's called A Day in the Life, and I'm going to tell you what I do in a typical day. The reason for this is because I get a lot of guys when I'm working who tell me they love my job and how fantastic it is to work with such amazing animals, do this and do that. Oh, and it's incredible and amazing, and oh, what fun it would be, and really satisfying work. And it is all those things. I have absolutely not, um, absolutely not kind of question that. It is a fantastic job. It's not really a job. It's more of a hobby that I've turned into work. Um, and it's fantastic. It does give you a great degree of satisfaction to know that you're helping people and that you're helping animals, because all of my animals are rescues. And yeah, it is good fun, but it's also a very long days, and very intensive, and you don't get many days. Well, you don't get any days off, to be fair. 365 days a year, because the animals need feeding and cleaning every single day, sometimes twice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a look into a typical day in the life of an animal assisted therapy practitioner and what it's actually like. So when I tell these guys and give them a brief outline of what I do during the day, they're shocked and they back out of wanting to do my job. They want to do the bit that they see, which is only a snapshot of my day, but they don't want to do all the rest of the stuff that I have to do. And they want their holidays, and they want to go out with their friends, and they want to do this and they want to do that. And unfortunately, when you have the commitment of animals, and I don't want guys to feel sorry for me, because I absolutely love what I do and I love having the animals that I have. It's really good to experience the connections and the affections of lots of different kinds of animals. Um, it isn't a holiday, let's put it that way. So here we go with a snapshot of a typical day. So tomorrow I am working in a prison, a prison which is in Aylesbury. So you can guess which prison it is, I'm sure. And that means that I have to leave here at 6:45. So that's 6:45 a.m. And I have to leave here at 6:45 a.m. so that I can be at the prison for 8:30, so that I can start to do sessions at 9 o'clock. Because it takes a while to get the car through the gate and into the yard so that we can unload the animals and get to it. So that means that I have to get up at 3 a.m. It is currently 8 o'clock at night, and I am going to bed at the same time as my 10-year-old. Well, a little bit earlier, to be fair, but at the same time as my 10-year-old stepdaughter, which is quite amazing, really. Before my partner, before her 14-year-old and 12-year-old go to bed, and I have to go to bed at 8 o'clock so I can try and get at least 6 hours sleep. I function well on 6 to 7 hours sleep, which is a good job, really. Otherwise, I'd have to go to bed a lot earlier. But I function best on between 6 and 7 hours. I don't function well if I have more than 7 hours sleep. It leaves me very, very tired. And if I have any more than kind of 8 or 9 hours, I really am not a good person to be around. So I'm much better on a short amount of sleep, 6 to 7 hours, just like Margaret Thatcher. Well, Margaret Thatcher famously, she used to have about 4 hours sleep a night, and that used to do her, and she'd wake up refreshed and full of I don't know whether they're bright ideas or not, but full of ideas to govern the country. So that was my hope for doing this for this episode as a bit of a sideline. This episode was going to be an election special, and we were going to ask what's in it for the animals. But unfortunately, despite approaching all of the parties, I could not get a response from any of the parties. I did speak to one MP, but obviously they are very busy doing 18-hour days campaigning for election. So, yeah, we didn't quite get there. I should have thought about that before, but, Rishi did exactly spring it on everybody. It's not so much a spring election as a sprung election, as I said to one of my friends. So, yeah, we won't be doing that episode now, but we will be speaking to that MP at some point in the near future. Seems like a nice chap. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. So, yeah, back to it. It is 8 o'clock. Well, it's probably about ten past 8 now. So I am about to go to sleep. When I get up in the morning, I will, I'll talk you through my day. Hopefully it'll be an interesting episode. If it's not an interesting episode, I'm very sorry, but if you do want to be an animal assisted therapy practitioner, it's quite important to know exactly what you're getting yourself in for. So good night, everybody. Speak to you in the morning. Right. Good morning, everybody. It is 3 a.m. and my alarm's just got off. I had a pretty good night's sleep, I think. Oh, excuse me. And, yeah, I need to jump out of bed and do some work. You have to roll around in bed and do a bit of a stretching thing, don't you? Otherwise, I just jump out of bed. Not at my age, anyway. You gotta let your brain acclimatise, funnily enough. Ooh, yeah. Funnily enough, the first thing I thought of this morning when my alarm went off was, must do podcast. Weird, eh? Don't normally think that. I normally just... kind of... The dog gets very excited when my alarm goes off because it's time to go play ball while he goes to the loo. He gets very excited. He jumps on the bed and off the bed. Oh, and on the bed and off the bed. On the bed and off the bed. I just switched the light on and oh my god. My eyes. Oh, my eyes. So, I'm going to get dressed. I'm going to take the dog out. And then I am going to get back to you. But this is what it's going to be today. It's going to be little snippets, different times, describing what I do. Obviously, I can't take my phone into the prison, so I will run through what I did in the prison when I get out on my way home. So speak to you in a bit. So again, it's 3:05 now. So yeah, enjoy your additional 3 hours or whatever you're getting. But yeah, it's all good. Right, So, dog's been out, it's been raining, so it's wet out there, so I had to wipe his paws when he came in. And I've come in now, I'm going to do sandwiches, forgot about that, I'm going to do packed lunch to take me to HMP Aylesbury. And then I'm going to do the salads. So it takes a while to get my brain into gear in the morning. Takes me a while to get myself into gear. So yeah, I've got to do packed lunch, then I've got to do salads for the lizards and eggs for the ferrets. And Echo's had his wee and his poo now. Well, it's too early to feed them at the minute, so I'll feed them later. And yeah, so I'm now going to do my packed lunch and everything else. And I'll get back to you. Oh dear. Coffee. Must do coffee first. Check the socials while I was outside. And got tagged in a post from Zoe's place from yesterday. Just pictures of the animals and the kids, which is nice. So yeah, all good. Right, it is now. Oh, the light's gone out. It is now 3:45, and I am in my animal shed. You might hear some strange noises. You can probably hear the ferrets going mental for their breakfast. So we'll feed them, and then that will quiet them down. We feed them, but we leave the door open so they can come out and have a run round. We now have to turn all of the UV lights on, because the lizards especially need their ultraviolet light. They're 12 hours of sunlight a day. The lucky bleeders and the tortoises, they need their 12 hours of sunlight a day, otherwise their shells go soft and pliable if they don't get enough calcium and enough benefits from the ultraviolet light. As I said, it takes me a while to get thinking. So we make sure all those are coming on. One of them isn't, so we just need to try and there we go. I don't know what that was. It was fine yesterday. So, but yeah, so they're all on. And I've got about an hour and a half now to make sure everybody's okay. This is one of the best parts of the day, because I get to interact with all of my animals. I have 65 animals in total. We have 2 ferrets, 3 skinny pigs. We have a blue-tongued skink and a Horsfield's tortoise and a bearded dragon, and we've got a plated lizard, we've got the ball snake, we've got the orange bitey thing, or orange baboon tarantula, we've got a millipede. I'm just walking around now looking. We've got a royal python, we've got a Paraguayan rainbow boa, we've got a milk snake, we've got an Everglades rat snake, and then forgot about those two. So we've got a Brazilian black tarantula, who actually molted the other day, looks absolutely beautiful. Very hairy Texas brown tarantula. And then we've got a European eyed lizard. We've got a western hognose snake, another ball python, and we've got a couple of Berber skinks, a leopard gecko, and some budwing stick insects, and some giant spiny stick insects. And then we've got an empty cage. Well, it looks empty from everybody towards everybody. You go out of there, you mister. The ferrets love to explore. Yeah, and then we've got an empty cage, but the empty cage has actually got eggs in for jungle nymphs. Take 18 months to hatch, so they lay the eggs. After they've laid the eggs, the female dies, and you're left with an empty cage. and you have to keep that empty cage. Well, you don't have to keep that empty cage. You can always put all the soil into a box and then keep the box moist. But I prefer just to leave the cage empty until they hatch, hopefully, fingers crossed. Then we've got our beautiful Wobble, who is a white tree frog, and is about 15 years old, so he's doing really well. Chinchilla. We've got a boa constrictor. We have a Herman's tortoise. We have Riddle, who is the plume basilisk. Then we have a carpet python, and a corn snake, and a salmon pink bird eater. And that is all of my animals checked on. I'm going to check on the tomato plants as well, because we took a slice of tomato. Do you know you can actually slice a slice of tomato you bought in the supermarket, and you can plant those slices in a tub with some soil, some peat-free soil, and you can grow your own tomato plants. And I've got 7 at the moment, and hopefully they'll come. You can do it with kiwis. I've got some kiwi seeds drying at the moment, so hopefully I can turn them into little kiwi trees, and you can actually grow kiwis in the UK. Ah, God, the things I like to try out, eh? So I am now about to proceed to feed and clean all of these guys. I'll send you a few photos. Well, I won't send you a few photos, but if you check on the socials, I do a TikTok to advertise each. You can find us Critterish all sorts on TikTok. I do TikTok to advertise all of the episodes of the podcast, and so you can find it on TikTok, and there'll be photos of my day, and there'll be maybe the odd video. Yeah, you can see how things are going. So I will speak to you shortly. So I am about halfway through. I'm just taking a couple of minutes, otherwise I would just be constant work. So I force myself to take a break every now and then. I've still got half the shed to do, then feed the chicken, clean the chicken, feed the rabbit, spot clean the rabbit, and then I can go and feed the cat and the dog and sort myself out. One thing I do advise when you do a job that's very intensive is to take a break every now and then, because I've just been sitting stroking the chicken. It helps with the mental health and all that business. And now back to it. Okay, so it's now 5:30. I am a little bit behind schedule, but we can make that time up. I've got my dinner on for tonight. We're having a baked potato. It's in the slow cooker on a timer. So that'll be ready when not when I come home, but it'll be ready when I've finished sorting the animals out after I've got home. I have got now to feed the dog, who's looking very excited about potentially getting breakfast. So we've got to feed Echo, we've got to feed Lily the cat. We'll do the washing up. I've got a hoover. I've got to do my socials for today and let everybody know what I'm doing and where I'm going. And I have to shower, obviously, because when I come out of the shed after doing the animals, I stink. My girlfriend will attest to the fact that I stink. I just smell of ferrets and animals and chickens and stuff. And then I will shower, and then I've got to walk the dog. Then I've got to prepare animals to get into the car for our journey, and then I've got to get in the car and start driving. So I will talk to you probably next when I am in the car and ready to go. I might talk to you when I'm on my dog walk. I do like to have a meander. Anyway, yeah, we'll speak to you later. Okay, so I am now taking the dog for a walk. It's 6:25, and dog needs to be walked before we go out, so that we can be happy walking past the big water wheel now that dates back to the dates back to the Civil War. It was used to power the furnaces that made the bayonets for the guns for the soldiers in the Civil War. Anyway, yeah, so the dog needs to be walked to make sure that he's empty, so to speak, when we start our journey, so he doesn't need a wee, doesn't need a poo while we're driving, and he needs to have a little bit of a walk. He is going to get exercise though. I'm going to spend around 6-7 hours in a prison, and for that 6-7 hours he will be playing with his ball, he will be resting and being stroked. You know, there's all these different things that happen during a session. You don't always know exactly what's going to happen, but yeah, so bear in mind as well that I'm not yet doing the work that I'm actually paid for. This is what happens every morning. Obviously days when I don't work is a bit different because I get up later, and I get to spend more time with my girlfriend and the family. So Echo gets a good 15-minute walk before we go out, and then he gets 6-7 hours of play, by which time when we come home he's absolutely knackered. But he does need to, he needs to have a sniff round and have a wee and a poo, or 2 poos, and yeah, generally just his own mental health, just make him a happy dog, and then we go and he gets played with, and he's very, very happy when he sees his ball, and job's a good one. I will take a photo for the TikTok, so if you look at the TikTok you'll see photos of my day as well, so follow me on TikTok at Twitterish All Sorts, and you can see some photos of me on this one, some photos of previous guests and guests to come. Right, when I get home and I finish this dog walk, it'll be time to get the animals ready, get them in the car, and we'll be on our way. I'll talk to you a little bit more when we're on our way. Enjoy. Hi, me again. I am now on my way to HMP Aylesbury. Again, I don't charge for my driving time or my travel time, so I'm not actually doing the work that I'm getting paid for, that I actually charge for, until I enter the prison. So people think I charge a lot of money for what I do, but when you encompass everything that goes into the actual bit that I get paid for, the bit that people see, the visual paid for, it's it's not that much, to be fair. So I am, it's like a sandwich, I guess. People pay for a sandwich and then pay £4 and go, oh, I'm not paying £4 for a cheese sandwich. But then you got to think about the fact that, you know, they've had to buy the ingredients, they've had to pay someone to make the sandwich, and they've got to pay for packaging, and it's all the things that go into actually producing the bit that you actually pay for. So yeah, it's a bit weird, but there you go. So I have with me in the car a dog, Echo. I have Connie, the boa constrictor, and I have Shiva, who's a blue-tongued skink. I have Pinky, who is my salmon pink bird eater, and I'll have to take an antihistamine in a minute, because she brings me out in urticaria or hives. She's got particularly irritating, urticating hairs. I have a rabbit, Bandit, and I also have Kiki, my beloved chinchilla, who is probably the favourite animal of all my 65 charges. I always get asked, what's your favourite animal? And my favourite animal that I've got is my chinchilla. She's absolutely stunning, she's gorgeous. Not only is she beautiful, but we have a fantastic relationship. She comes up every morning. When I'm cleaning her cage out, she comes up and she gives me a little sniff, and she comes and touches noses with me, and then she'll put her little feet on my bald head and have a sniff at the top of my head, and then she'll run away like she smells something really bad, and go and have a drink of water. It's fantastic. But yeah, we love her. And so being an animal assisted therapy practitioner, it's not just the animals and the cleaning and the feeding and all the rest of it. Got paperwork as well. So in the UK, in order to be an animal assisted therapy practitioner or to work with animals in any capacity, if you're running your own business, you need something called an animal activities license, which costs about £1,000, sometimes in excess of £1,000 every 3 years to renew. And you get a vet that comes and make sure that you are keeping your animals in a fit state and your animal welfare is up to scratch. You have to have what I call it my blue Bible, which is basically a set of operating procedures in case touch wood, heaven forbid, but in case I have a really bad car accident and perish and I'm no longer on earth, there needs to be a procedure in place so that the minute I'm not around anymore, someone can keep the animals alive basically and do the animal welfare. So this Bible, it has operating procedures, what to do in case there's a fire, what to do with animals that have passed away, emergency procedures, what happens if the water gets cut off or the electric gets cut off, what are the procedures for that. Then you've got your hygiene, they look at how you prepare the food, where you prepare the food, they look at, there's a sheet in there for every single animal I've got that says this is the animal, what it is, where it come from, how old it is, this is how you look after it, this is what you feed it, this is when you clean it out, and all the rest of it, so that someone can come along and go, okay, this is this animal, I need to do this, and they can carry on where I left off, sort of thing. I also need to log every animal's timesheet. So every animal has a sheet that goes along with their care sheet that tells me when I last took them out. So you have to put the time you left home, the time you got back, the amount of time you were travelling for, and I don't tend to go any further than 2.5 hours each way, just because I don't think it's fair on the animals to have them in the car any longer than 2.5 hours. So I won't. I've turned down jobs in London because it takes so long. Wormwood Scrubs wanted me the other day, and I said, I'm sorry, I can't because it's too far. There was a prison up in Newcastle upon Tyne that wanted me, and again it's a 4-hour journey, and I was like, no, sorry, can't. There was psychiatric hospitals in certain parts of the country that I can't go to because it's too far away, so I have to turn business away because I don't think it's fair on the animals to have them travel as far as that. I've even turned down I can't really say what it was. I do tell people sometimes, but it was a very prestigious job that would have allowed me certain privileges that other people wouldn't get because of who the job was for and what the job was doing. But unfortunately I could not do it because it was in central London. It was way too far to go, and I lost out. But the animals come before anything else, and they have to because they're important. Without the animals I don't have a business, so I treat them like royalty in a way, because they get spoiled because they need to be properly looked after so that they're in a fit state to do the job that they do. They do enjoy being out and about. They get to where they're going and they're out their boxes and enjoying life and just doing generally animal things. yeah, they do enjoy their job, and they deserve every ounce of or every second of time that I devote to them. So you need the animal assisted therapy, the animal activities license, which allows you to do to work with animals. Then on top of that, if you want to be an animal assisted therapy practitioner, you need to do a bit of study, and you need to do an animal assisted therapy practitioner's course, which are only available online unless you want to do a degree. And there's a college in a place called Bishop's Burton in Yorkshire, and they do a degree. It is by you don't do it at the college, you do it at home. But there is I think, if I remember right, it was a 6-week residential portion of the course where you go for 6 weeks and work at Bishop's Burton College. So I couldn't do that course just because the residential would have taken me away from doing my day job. But the they're all correspondence courses. But the correspondence course I recommend more than any other is the British School of Yoga. I've looked at quite a few, and theirs is the most intensive and requires the most work and the most study. So do that. It's also useful if you want to work in psychiatric hospitals and prisons to have a grounding in forensic psychology, which is always good. Other courses I've done include zoology, animal welfare, zoopharmacognosy, which is the animal's innate ability to find plants to remedy certain illnesses. That's it's such an interesting topic, zoopharmacognosy. It's pretty cool. What else have I done? I think that's probably the main ones I did, so that I was kind of more in tune with what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. Bearing in mind that I am getting towards 60 now, and that means that I studied in my 50s. You know, you're at school and you think to yourself, oh God, I hate school, I hate studying, I'm never going to study again. But it's fantastic to just kind of, I don't know, just to learn new stuff. I find learning fantastic. That's why when I'm driving and I'm not recording part of a podcast, I listen to podcasts all the time, and I find that I learn so much from listening to podcasts that it's a brilliant way to learn while you're on the go without actually realising that you're learning anything, and it all sticks. Two that I definitely recommend are Ologies with Ali Ward, and I forget the lady's name, but it's a podcast called Science Viz, and that's fantastic as well. Ali, oh dear God, no, I can't remember. But yeah, so Ologies and Science Viz, definitely have a listen to them. I listened to something called Real Survival Stories, which has inspired the workshop that I'll be doing today at HMP Aylesbury. All about survivors and people who've survived like really quite incredible things where they should have been dead like 2 weeks in the Indian Ocean, or 5 days on a glacier with frostbite before someone actually rescues them, and it's inspiring, amazing. Those are my favourite ones, and then there's a few others I listen to as well. So yeah, check them out. Right, what else was I going to tell you? So yeah, I'm not being paid at the moment. I don't need to get paid to get to the prison, so this is all part of my unpaid day. So I got up at 3 o'clock this morning. It's now 7:05. I should arrive at HMP Aylesbury at 8:43. I'm due to commence my work at 9 o'clock. So long as I'm there I like to try and get there about half an hour. It normally takes about an hour and 45 minutes to get to Aylesbury, but it's a bit longer today. It was an hour and 55. So we've already knocked 3 minutes off the arrival time. So clearly the traffic's not as bad as Waze thought it was. There are other sat navs available, we're going to get there about 8:43. I'm not allowed to take my phone into prison. When I get to the prison, everything comes out. So all the USB wires, the phone, the camera, any part drunk drinks, any chewing gum, any sharp objects, my passport, my charging block, everything comes out the car and goes into a locker. It's not allowed to take those in just in case somebody gets into your car. You have to hand your keys in, car keys in, so that they have kind of control over your car, sort of thing. So yeah, it's all very very scary. But so I can't take my phone in, so I can't actually record any of the sessions or take photos of any of the sessions. But what I will do when I get out is I will tell you all about my day. I'll tell you what went on and how the workshops went and everything. That's the actual paid bit of my job. And so I could talk to you for the whole journey, whole hour and 3/4, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to I'm about to get on the motorway, so I'm just going to negotiate this island. You are on hands-free, by the way. I'm not doing this while I'm not holding the phone or anything. So I'm just about to get on the M5 South, which will take me to junction 3A where the M42 is. But instead of going on the M42, I will go on. Sorry, it'll take me to the M42. And I will get on junction 3A of the M42. I'll get to junction 3A of the M42, and that will put me on the M40, and that will take me down to Aylesbury, kinda. You get off at junction, I think it's junction 8 of the M40, which then takes you to down all the A roads through the countryside and into Aylesbury. So I'm just getting on junction 4 of the M5. And checking my mirrors as I do so, and then we'll get on the M42 and we'll be on our way. You get some idiots on the roads. I'll tell you what, some of the people I encounter on the motorways when I'm driving, I do wonder sometimes how they get their licence or how they keep their licence. It does amuse me. People drive so quickly. Maybe I'm just getting old. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up now and listen to some podcasts. I hope that wasn't too boring for you, and I will speak to you probably when I get close to Aylesbury. Take care. Okay, I am now in Aylesbury. It is 8:44 and I am just a few minutes away from getting to the prison, just at the usual traffic bound island that I have to negotiate before I get on the roads to the prison. Aylesbury prison is in the middle of the town, and it's one of those in the middle of the town, like HMP Stafford, and which other ones are in the middle of the town? trying to think. One's a good two. Like HMP Doncaster's in the middle of the town. There are a few in towns around. But yeah, so I am almost there, and the dog's getting restless because somehow Echo knows the journey to every prison. He knows when you get into the point of getting to the prison. He's going to say something in a minute because the dog, I told you. He's so loud. Ah, dear God. He sits up and looks out the window because he knows we're getting close. Yep, we're nearly there, Echo. Nearly there. Yeah, and you can play with your ball and everything's good. Oh dear. So we turn left at this island and we drive down the road to the prison. So when I get there, I will park outside the big red gates and go and show them my passport, which we've got ready to go, so that we can we're ready to go as soon as we get out the car, and then I'll start my day working with the guys in HMP Aylesbury, most of whom are young, so between the ages of sort of 18 and 25. The older one, not many, because it used to be a YOI, Youth Offenders Institute, so it used to be kids, but now it's older generation. So here we are, we're here now, so I will speak to you. Hi, me again. I'm out, went straight into the prison, literally as I got there, showed my thing at the gate, my passport at the gate, and in I went. I got out about 15 minutes ago. I've just refilled on petrol, refilled on coffee so I can get home, and I am due to arrive back home at 5:45, and then I've got everything I need to do at home, including eat dinner. I have to cook for myself. The jacket spud's on. Hopefully I didn't mess up and it will be done when I've got home. I've done that before. Got home to a still rock hard cold potato because I forgot to put the dial on the right setting on the slow cooker, so we'll see. Anyway, today, what was today about? So I listened to a podcast called Real Survival Stories. It's all about people who've overcome the odds to survive extreme problems. So guys who've fallen off mountains and broken both their legs and only had a dog with them, and the dog's gone and fetched help, and help's come, just like Lassie, help's come and they've got off and they've survived. People who've been shipwrecked at sea and stayed afloat in the ocean for 2 weeks before they got rescued, made themselves, got themselves back and recovered from whatever they recovered from, and had legs amputated, whatever. And then once they get out of hospital, they go straight back to where they were before, and they do it all again. And they go back to mountain climbing, or they go back to sailing, or whatever. Is that mad? Or is that overcoming adversity? Like the ultimate in overcoming adversity? Who knows? But that's what the workshop was about. So the workshop was called Survival, and it was all about the survival mindset and what we need to survive, how animals have survived millions of years and evolved to become the animals they are today. So, the things like adaptation to the environment, resilience, flexibility, living each day as it comes, making sure they stay out of danger, all that kind of stuff. And what we did then was we took a look at how prisoners survive inside, to what they've got in their heads, that they do things inside in prison to survive. So, being resilient is one, flexibility is another one, adapting to a new environment is another one that they use, living day to day, knowing who they can talk to and who they can't talk to, so keeping themselves out of danger, making sure that they follow rules so they can get out. And then the other thing I wanted to know was, practically, what can the prison system teach these guys? This came from the prisoners rather than from the prison. What prison could teach them to allow them to survive when they get out. So that is to say that they teach them things like maths and English, and they can do degrees, and they can do all that, so they can get employment if people are willing to employ them when they get out. But what do they really need the basic things in order to survive? So things like cooking came up. They don't want to be in prison for 15 years and then just get thrown out into the world to survive, because that just means that what happens is they've got nowhere to live, they've got no money, they've got no job, no way to sustain themselves, and they've got no practical skills. Everything's changed in the world, so they haven't been able to adapt to the world while they've been inside, because they've been inside. And so it kind of, that's what leads to recidivism. So that's what leads to them reoffending, that's what leads to them getting recalled. And there's a big percentage of people in prison today who were recalled simply because they get out of prison, they've got nowhere to live, and because they're homeless, they get called back into prison, which seems a bit ridiculous, especially as we've got very few empty prison cells in the country at the moment. Prisons are understaffed and overpopulated, and one of the reasons that they are overpopulated is because prisoners that have been released at the end of their sentence don't have anywhere to live, so they recall them to prison so they're not homeless, which seems to kind of defeat the object. So, prisoners were saying things like, I need to go to DCAT so I can get some social integration, but managed social integration, so I can get used to the world as it is now before I actually get released. So they've got somewhere to live, but they can try and find a job, they can go out into society, but they've got the safety blanket of going back to the institution that they've been in for the last 15 years, so they're institutionalised. So if they can get that kind of gradual reintegration to society, then they will be less likely to reoffend and be recalled. So a lot of these things came out. What else came out? The prison helping them find somewhere to live before they're released, the prison helping them find a job, perhaps subsidised a job maybe, before they're released, so that they've got a job, they've got a place to live, so they've got basic survival tools, things that we take for granted really, being allowed to, being taught to cook, being taught to manage finances, all that sort of thing, so that they've got the basics of living without having to resort to crime in order to
fund their lives, especially with the cost of living crisis that we've got today. They're released with like 60 quid and maybe into a bed and breakfast if they're lucky, and they're just expected to get on with it. Probation service is good, but it's understaffed again. No one wants to do the job, and therefore some guys are infrequently visited by probation, and therefore they just get back into their old ways, basically, fall back in with their old pals, and don't actually get a chance to have time and space to redirect their lives. Another one that I found interesting was prisoners said that it'd be really good if they were taught social skills, how to interact with people properly, how to interact with people without losing their rag. And I thought that was a really, really interesting point to make. A lot of the guys are in prison because they don't have social skills. So if they were taught social skills and they were allowed to practice those social skills, prisons would probably be a lot less violent, because these guys would be knowing how to interact with each other and how to deal with situations. So that was another one that came from the social skills, was sort of the management of situations, how to kind of get yourself out of a situation that you don't want to be in without resorting to clocking the guy in the face. And I think all these are very important skills to teach guys who have been in an all-male environment with violence all around them, and bullying and everything else that goes on in prison, all the negative stuff that goes on in prison. Being taught how to manage these situations and being taught social skills and how to interact with people on a positive level, it would make such a difference to what happens in prison and then what happens when the guys get out. So I think that's a really good one. And I thought it'd be really good to do it with members of staff as well. So to do the same exercise, but do it with the members of staff, the prison officers, and say, well, how do you survive in this environment as an employee, as somebody that works in this environment, does 12, 14 hours, whatever, and has to put up with sexual harassment, violence, because most prison officers in most prisons are actually women, actually female. And interestingly, at HMP Aylesbury today at lunchtime, there was a workshop about sexual harassment and how to deal with it and how to report it and all the rest of it. And that to me, that struck me as quite a positive thing to do for the members of staff, because there are a lot of ladies, and then they're walking maybe through the yard, or them two lady prison officers are on a wing with 60 guys, 80 guys, whatever, all men, and they've got to not be intimidated by those men. They've got to not allow those men to sexually abuse them verbally or in any other way, make lewd comments and that sort of thing. They've got a stamp on that, and this workshop was to show them how to deal with that kind of thing. So yeah, it's very important to teach these guys how to act properly and in society as well as in prison. And but it'd be really interesting to do it with the staff, because I think we'd get probably a different range of answers, but knowing how they survive in that job would be quite an interesting thing to do. So we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, I've gabbled on and I've gabbled on and I've gabbled on. But that was my day today. I sat with 3 groups of prisoners and did the same exercise. So we do I come up with these workshops, and we do one workshop, and then that workshop lasts 3 visits. So if I do a run of 6 visits, we cover 2 workshops. So each workshop is split into 3 sessions. So one month we do session 1, the next month we do session 2, and then the month after we do session 3. It works quite good. The guys get copies of what they've come up with, all the lists that they've come up with, so that they can remember what was discussed and how it was discussed, and what they learned from it. And then we can hopefully we've made a difference to at least one prisoner's life today with the workshop. At least one prisoner's going to go away feeling better and with a different mindset than they had when they walked in. And if we can do that just with one prisoner each time, it's a real kind of bonus for me. I think it means if I can change just one life in my whole career, then for the better, then I can die a happy man, basically. So that's what I did today. I had lunch and chatted to the guys about the workshop that they did. I love Aylesbury because I feel really kind of quite included, if that makes sense, in the Aylesbury team, the Aylesbury OT team, the psychological team, because they welcome me with open arms. It's the psychologists and the occupational therapists who work with me when I'm working with the groups of prisoners, and when they have their afternoon briefing about what's going on and what's going down in the prison, I'm included in that, and I'm a welcome to it. It's not like, oh, you can come if you must, or oh, well, you can't be left here on your own, you're going to have to come. It's like, come on down, it's time for the briefing, and it's like I'm part of the team for them, and I love that about Aylesbury. It's really kind of it's a real kind of team environment. So thank you to HMP Aylesbury for my day today. I'm very pleased to have been, and we're on our way home now. The animals all did well. They're all happy, except for the chinchilla that got licked by the dog. But apart from that, everything's good. Everybody's happy. Everybody's safely back in their boxes and on their way home with me. I've not lost anybody, which is always good. I'm just driving through Bicester Retail Village on my way to the M40. It's all hopefully still on for 17:46 to get home. And I am currently listening to the latest Ologies episode, which is on Colcidology. Colcidology is the study of mosquitoes. Did you know, for instance, mosquitoes are the biggest killer of people in the world, in the whole world? The most dangerous animal in the whole world is a mosquito, because they kill more people than anybody else, because they carry so many diseases. Mad, isn't it? And the second, so they kill 1 million people, the second most prolific killer of people on the planet is man. That's right, folks, it's us. We kill 500,000 people a year. So the mosquito kills 1 million, we kill half that. And this shocked me. Number 3 in the top 3 of killers a snail. That's right, the snail, the humble snail, kills more people than every other animal except the mosquito and humans. Go figure. Anyway, we got a little snippet of amazing information. I'm now going to drive home, and I will speak to you when I get back. Okay, so it's now 6:30 and we arrived home about half an hour ago, so I have to get changed so I can go clean and feed animals again. Got the animals out the car and put them in their houses, letting them settle for a bit now while I have a bit of a break after that long drive. We had a bit of traffic on the M42, M40. You never know when you're going to hit traffic there. And so it all starts again now that I'm home. I need to clean the litter trays out because Echo loves to munch on a bit of cat poo. So I have to make sure there's no cat poo lying around so we can't munch on it. And so the plan is now feed animals, feed myself, then do my admin, and then I can go and see my other half and spend an hour with her before it's back to bed, ready to get up at 5 o'clock tomorrow. It's all good fun. Okay, so I drove home, got home safe, put the animals away, fed the dog and the cat. Then I fed myself. Then I did the admin that I've got to do, emails that I've got to send, emails that I've got to reply to, and filled in my Blue Bible with the times of today for all the animals, and then washed up, got changed, and now I am on my way to see my lovely girlfriend Lucy and spend a bit of time with her. A bit of time being about 2 hours, maybe not even that long. And finally a bit of relaxed time, and then do it all again tomorrow. You're alright, mate? So yeah, that's almost my day. We'll speak later at the end of it. So bye for now. Yeah. So timestamp, by the way, it's 8:30. So that's the time. 8:30. Well, folks, it's 10:30 and I am back in bed after spending a couple of hours with Lucy. And so we've gone full circle today. I got up at 3 o'clock. It's now 10:30, so I've been up for 19 and a half hours. 2 hours of which were relaxation for us, and the rest was work. So not every day is like this. Some days where I don't work, it's up at about 6 or 7 o'clock. Weekends latest to get up is 7. And we do all the work up to and including the dog walk, and we go around and about, and then I spend time with the family once I'm finished at about 11, 12 o'clock usually, and then I'm back in the house at 4 or 5 o'clock, ready to do the night feeds and the admin and everything else. And then spend the time I have left of an evening with the family, and then it's back to bed. So not every day is like this, but the days where it's a full day are like this, definitely. With the days where I have to be at a prison for sort of anywhere between 8:30 and 10 o'clock, I like this. But when you do something you love, not really a job,
You know, I love spending time with my animals, and therefore it's enjoyable. You know, the best times are the times spent cuddling and playing and talking to them and doing everything else I do with them. So, you know, it's not a bad life really. But do you still want to be an animal assisted therapy practitioner after hearing about my day? That's up to you. I apologise if this is the most boring podcast you've ever listened to. But I couldn't find a guest for this month, so this is what we've had to do. But yeah, I'm signing off now. And join me in July for an absolute belter. Yeah, there's plenty more where that came from, folks. Plenty more where that came from. And I'll see you next month. Take care. Oh, and if you want to find me on socials, just look up Critterish All Sorts. We're on TikTok. I'll do a video to advertise this episode, and it'll have lots of pictures of my day, and you'll be able to see kind of how things went and where things went. And it'll end with a selfie of me and Lucy enjoying our time together. You know, she's an absolute saint putting up with what I do for work. She manages it because she loves me and she knows how much I love my work. But yeah, so you can join us on TikTok, you can join us on Facebook, you can join us on Twitter. We're on LinkedIn. Well, I'm on LinkedIn. Well, to be fair, I'm on LinkedIn and the business is on LinkedIn. Where else am I? Where else can you find me? You can find a book about what I do on Amazon called Unleashing the Healing Power of Animals by Dale Priest Kelly. What else do we do? Yeah, we do all the socials, Instagram, the lot. Just look up Critterish All Sorts or Dale Priest Kelly and you'll find us. Feel free to send in any requests for guests or ideas for shows, and we can try and make that happen. And you can also find the website at www.critterishallsorts.co.uk or critter-assisted-therapy.co.uk, and you'll see more about what we do, and you'll also see details of how you can book us for your psychiatric hospital, care home, prison, whatever it is you may have, and get in touch. I apologise if this is the most boring podcast you've ever heard or ever listened to, but couldn't find any guests for June. However, I do have an absolute corking guest for July. Hopefully we'll be recording that in the next couple of weeks, and we can get that one out in the middle of July for you to listen to. So look forward to that. Apologies for this one, but it's the best I could do. Good night. God bless. And there's plenty more where that came from.